We're going to be covering a couple of different topics, but one of them is the new name. If it's so important and it's something that you should never forget, then there's some significance to it.
For me, studying this new name and realizing it has more significance than than outside the temple has helped me to realize that I can learn a little bit about my life path. It feels like an extension of my patriarchal blessing. I feel like I know my past, my future, my present, and it helps me to navigate some really challenging times.
Welcome into another Key of David podcast. And if we haven't told you already, Happy New Year from Zion Media. Hey, we've got something I think really interesting and really fun to talk about today. We're going to be covering a couple of different topics, but one of them is the new name. And this is something that it's almost like we don't talk about it because we're like, oh, it's so sacred and I don't know how much to talk about it. But if it's so important and it's something that you should never forget, then there's some significance to it. But let's go ahead and talk about it. Trevor, I know this has kind of been on your mind. You and I have had some of these discussions, but walk me through a little bit about your thought, having been a member of the church your whole life, getting a new name back in the 90s, and what your thoughts have been.
Well, first off, everybody in the 90s got way better new names back then. All those names expired. So anybody who's gotten a new name post 1990, like you're getting like the low level names. So I feel important that I got one of the good names. No. Okay. So what happened was I think this was the day after Christmas, and Shane sent me a recording that we'll play here. And I almost want to listen to the music video first and then bring in where I came from. But, like I listened to this song and it was really cool and it was inspiring. But then the voice inside of my head, those who know me, like I'm a skeptic, I'm a critic. And my own voice started being like, the new name's not significant. Like how many thousands of people went on the same day that I went and got the same name. Right. And so that doubt went into my head and I started like spiraling down. And I was listening to this song that Shane said that was, sent. There was this beautiful song. And I started going like negative on it, just being like, I don't like this. This is BS. This is propaganda. And we had a great conversation about it. And afterwards we're like, we should do a podcast about this because it helped me. I'm still not all the way there, with the new name and all that stuff. I still have some doubts. But it was a great combo. So let's start off first. David, if you have the video queued up.
Is it uploaded yet I know he's uploading it to YouTube. Is it uploaded?
Yeah, it actually is. I just texted it to you and I'm about to open it.
Okay, cool. So shout out to Zion Music. Hopefully we'll pull it up on the screen here. But just 2 videos ago, when we were talking about Zion Music, we had 11 subscribers. And then I looked, the last time we did the second video about Zion Music, we had 95 subscribers. And I think we're over 100 now. I think Shane said,
I don't know, 130, 140, 150. It's climbing every day. And we hope that you'll take the time to check it out. Okay. So this is one of our latest videos, and we got a ton of music. We at Zion.
Show us the homepage. Minimize out of that.
Sure. I always
There we
go
go.
post too.
Okay. So this is Zion Music, Zion Media Music. You can find it pretty easy. Actually, on our homepage, there's a tab. You can click on it. How many subscribers did say we got there? 136. Okay, let's get that number up. But check out these songs. They're intended to be Zion type songs. So if you're looking for good music you can play that are going to have a good message, there's a lot of music on here. And we're uploading, I don't know, David, how many more songs are in the queue with videos that need to be made?
We've got at least probably like another 30 to 40 songs that we're uploading.
Yeah,
So
and can they make their own playlist? Like, if I wanted to, could I make my own playlist on here?
yeah, all you have to do is go right to your video that you like, and then you just go. If you're on your computer, you can do this on mobile too. You can click on save, and when you save, it gives you an option to make a new playlist.
Oh,
So all you
gotcha,
have to
okay.
do is just put that playlist together, select your songs. We've already got Zion Media music playlists
Hey
here as well.
hey, listen, if you're a dentist, and you want some new, you know dental offices are known for music. Like, I know dental office music, it's a thing. Used to be Light FM 100 that was playing in all dental offices. But hey, with technology, throw on some Zion Media music. Get some of this Zion music playing through your airwaves in your office. The music is intended to inspire you to be better, to be a better human, to be more Christ-like, and to start building Zion. And in order for us to build Zion outside of ourselves, it must first be built within ourselves.
And
And
there's a
so,
lot there's a lot that goes into these lyrics. Like, we're talking programming on a positive, spiritual, emotional level, that listening to these things, you should be uplifted, not just consciously, but subconsciously as well.
totally. Okay.
If anybody puts this on, if you're a dentist and you put this in, I will come in and clean the plaque off of your teeth as the dentist if you play this in your office.
Okay. Well, let's jump into the song. This one's called "The New Name." It is a new release, and let's take a look at the lyrics, and hopefully this will spark us into our conversation.
Dave, put closed captions on. I know it's not 100% accurate, but okay, good, they're on.
It's more than a word, it's the start of a fire, a voice from heaven that lifts you higher. A gift, a promise, a call to become the name that reminds you of where you're from. Hold on, don't forget your name.
Forget it.
From the Abram to Abraham, Jacob to Israel, a name transforms. It's a story to tell. It's a key to your soul, a map to the light, a guide for the battles you're called to fight. When the world feels heavy, when doubt takes its place, your name is the anchor, a gift of grace. It's more than a title, it's purpose untamed, to rise and to live in the power of your name. Don't forget, it's who you are, a light to guide you, a northern star. It's a promise of hope, a flame to proclaim, to carry you forward in the power of your name. Don't forget, it's who you are, a light to guide you, a northern star. It's a promise of hope, a flame to proclaim, to carry you forward in the power of your name. Building momentum. It's the truth of your worth, the spark of the divine, the voice of the heavens that says you are mine. Like Saul who became Paul, you're made to change, to rise from the ashes, reborn, rearranged. Let it guide your steps, let it sharpen your way, a name that reminds you of who you'll be someday. Not just a sound, it's a heavenly flame, a call to be greater in the power of your name. Don't forget, it's who you are, a light to guide you, a northern star. It's a promise of hope, a flame to proclaim, to carry you forward in the power of your name. Don't forget, it's who you are.
Forget that name.
A northern star. It's a promise of hope, a flame to proclaim, to carry you forward in the power of your name.
Smash that like button.
When the road gets hard, when you feel alone, your name is the compass that leads you home. It's a whisper of love, a shield in the fight, a call to the heavens to walk in His love. Don't forget, it's who you are,
It's got kind of a nice 80s, 85 to it.
A flame to proclaim, to carry you forward in the power of your name. Don't forget, don't let it. Your name is a promise that will never change. It's written in light, it's carved in your soul. A name to remind you of what makes you whole.
Boom. Okay.
So,
So
do you want me to tell you how this happened?
yes.
Okay. So I'm in Maverick and I got my headphones in and I'm listening to this and I'm jamming because it's good, right? Like it's a good song. I'm jamming and I'm getting like emotional. And like I said, like the word comes into my head, my own head, and I'm like, but the name isn't a thing, Trevor. Like how many thousands of people got your name that day, right? And so I call up Shane and I said, "Hey, help me out here. Like I'm struggling with this thing. Like it's bothering me because I love the concept, and I do believe that there are people who do get new names. Obviously we've got Abraham, but I believe that is a rare occurrence that happens with people. I think there's probably people we don't know of that made a new covenant with God that has a new name and the symbology of that. And so I was just struggling. I'm like, Shane, walk me through this. Help me out. Like, how are you saying that you're mapping your whole entire like eternal view over this name if it's just a name that thousands of people got on that day? So let's walk through that, and then I'll ask some of the same questions.
You want me to walk through that?
Walk me through this. Tell me what you told me.
Yeah, so it's really interesting because it is true. What Trevor's saying is true. There are many people that have gone through the temple on that day, and it is at least my understanding that everybody that went through the temple on that day received that as the new name. And so you have this thing that plays in your head like, oh, it's just, it's just random. Like it's not that significant. And I will tell you that it may or it may not be. It may be symbolic, or it could be absolutely a part of who you are and a part of your new name. Now, when we look at when people get new names and why people get new names, and I know for me, when I got my new name, initially, I was super disappointed. I was like, huh? What's that? Trevor, you're on mute.
Sorry, I was saying you were disappointed in the name that you got, or
Yeah, I was when I went through the temple because it's like, I'm not going to go into it, but it's not this like name that you're like, oh, that dude, oh, that
it's
guy,
Abraham or something like
or
that.
something that's like you're like. I was like, oh, and I didn't understand it at the time. Now, what's interesting is over time, I now understand why at that time I received that name. And so while it might not seem significant to you now, it may have significance to you in the future. But one of the things that I would ask and tell everybody to do is take a look at your new name. Go study that name. See if there is any parallels or coincidences to who you are. Because now that I've lived 44 years, and now that I look at my name, I'm like, no wonder I got that name. That name makes perfect sense now, given the context of my life, understanding why I would get that name. And most new names are given when we make a new covenant. So when we go to the temple and we get a new name, it's because we are making new covenants. Now, my guess is there is, and it could be very symbolic, because my gut tells me that as you honor those covenants and live those covenants, there may be another time period where you will get call it your official new name. and you will start going by that new name. I mean, Abraham got a new name and started going by his new name. Saul got a new name, which was Paul, and he started going by that new name. And so it's interesting as we look at our new names, we don't reveal it at all. And that was not the case of those who received new names in the past. And so our new name could be symbolic. Our new name could be a name that we're given that can help us better understand who we are. I've often had the prompting and the thought that these new names, these people that we're carrying their name, are deeply associated and affiliated with us on our walk and on our path through this mortal probation. So understanding what that is. Trevor, you got something.
Yeah. Latter-day Chad and I were talking to Mitiga 3 nights ago, doing a FaceTime. Hadn't chatted with him in a while, and he told us that he went through this ritual in, I don't know if ritual is the right name, so forgive me if I'm butchering it.
Ceremony.
Which is ceremony, yes. In Mexico, he was down there at the end of Mexico, and they made him, a elder or chief in the tribe that he's in. And at the end of it, they gave him a new name. And he was like, "Oh, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, we do that. That's what we do with everybody who goes through this." Right. And I started thinking of all of like the Eleusinian mysteries and meaning like the Babylonian mystery schools and what they did in Greece with these Gnostic ceremonies. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Almost every single one of those, they give them a new name as well. Right. And so there's clearly something to this, right? I don't know if it's some sort of like mental rewrite that you're like, okay, new covenant, I do have a new name, I am this new person, and you're recognizing that. But another thing I wanted to bring up is many of you guys who followed our Zion Media journey remember David this summer, and he was waking up at 4 a.m. and he was going to this place and he was praying and he was trying to receive revelation. And if I remember right, Shane, and I want you and David to talk about this, you were given some tips to David to be like, try to find out who you are, and here's some clues. Can you talk about that a little?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, and it's kind of cool talking about a new name. David's got him a new name, and he wears it loud and proud.
The lion?
David the Lion Douglas, and so he got himself a new name. And but yeah, I mean, David was on a quest trying to figure out who he was, and I'm like, go study that new name wherever it appears in scriptures. And so he's looking, boom, it appears in the Old Testament. Boom, it actually appears in the Book of Mormon. Boom, it actually appears in the Nemenhah record. I don't know his new name, but I know that he said, saying, hey, I'm now studying it in this record. I'm now seeing it in this record. And David, talk to us a little bit about maybe how it's helped you understand and understand your path and your journey.
Yeah, for sure. Any epiphanies you've had along the way, Davey?
Oh man, I'd have to say it's given me some major epiphanies. For me, studying this new name and realizing it has more significance than than outside the temple has helped me to realize that I can learn a little bit about my life path. It feels like an extension of my patriarchal blessing, which is amazing. When I first got my patriarchal blessing, I felt kind of let down. I didn't put a lot of weight in my blessing when I first got it. And so when I mean my blessing is just like one page. And I was bummed out. I wanted to hear more from the Lord and what was inspired but learning about my new name through scripture has not only like the reason why it feels like an extended patriarchal blessing is because it literally tells me everything that's happened up until this point. It tells me potentially everything that's going to happen after this point. I feel like I know my past, my future, my present, and it helps me to navigate some really challenging times that I recently went through. And that's like the biggest part is when you don't know what to do and you're dealing with something. And I bet a lot of you that are watching this, Zion Media, Key of David podcast, you're probably, a lot of you are literally trying to figure out what is going on. You may have even had some breakdowns in life. If you have a new name from having gone to the temple, go study it. Go study it and learn or see if there's anything that you can discover out of that new name.
So Dave, we're going to Shane's favorite view here.
I don't mind this with the three of us.
Oh, good. So when you did this, are you like, so you're going to get your name, like, as far as I know, all of the new names are somebody from the scriptures, right? Is that right?
I mean, every time I've gone through the temple and done an endowment, it
Right.
is a scriptural name for sure.
Yeah.
And I remember right, almost like Old Testament, but maybe not.
Oh, it's changed. I mean, you can get Book of Mormon, you can get Nephi, Lehi, Moroni. Like, oh yeah, they've really opened it up.
There's a lot of modern names too that can go through the temple too.
All right. Is there Uchtdorf?
I can't say that.
Of course.
No, but I've received the name Heber before.
All right. So, okay, so you're going through whatever personal challenges, you're trying to discover who you are. You're going up literally praying, seeking messengers from the Father. And in this path, Shane's like, dude, you should look into your new name, see if there's connections. And so, did you take everywhere that's in the scriptures where that name was found and then you read about it?
Yeah, I looked everywhere where this name was mentioned and I just took note of it. What I actually did, this is probably useful, is I made a spreadsheet.
Oh, it's next level. It's next level. He's got a clue sheet. It's like next level.
Yeah, so I've got a spreadsheet where I got each book or chapter or verse that mentions not just that new name, but that is associated with that new name. And I've gone ahead and picked out parts that seem or resonated the most with me, like certain points in my life that have actually happened. And I put them in that spreadsheet, each in a different row. And then now I have it, the scripture, and then I have what's happened in my life or what's going to potentially happen, like my speculation. And now I've just added another column that's like a checkbox column to confirm that, okay, this has happened, and I'm waiting for the next thing to happen.
So this is like the opposite in my mind of what happens, right? But it's the best potential outcome because, in hearing that song, you would want to believe that this was a life path for you. So that's rad. And I see great value whether you believe or not your name is significant to you. I like that Excel idea. Like, that's freaking smart. I think I'm going to do something like that. And I encourage you guys to do the same. One thing that I do want to mention, as I was listening to it, like, it made me think of my kids, right? And I love one of the doctrines in our church is that I'm a child of God, and how we like inserted that into our ethos from the time we're a little kid singing those primary songs, because that is such an important factor today, especially in today's modern day. Like, no, we are children of God. We're endowed from high. We're here for a special reason. And if there actually is a possibility that going to the temple on that day gives you some clue, some hint, some cheat code for the rest of your life, that's the most miraculous thing ever. And I want to believe it.
Well, and let me remind you that we all received a new name when we came here to earth. And one of the cool practices that we do is you are given that official name when you are blessed as a baby, and the blessing goes and you pronounce the whole name, and you're like, the name that you will be known upon the records of the church is, and your full name is pronounced there. And so there is value in understanding that name. And all, if you got a first, middle, and last name, it's important to understand what those names are. So David's even taken it to the next level, and he's like, well, my first name's David. So let me see how that name in the scriptures can apply to me. And he's found unique things that he's dealing with the name David, and what's going on there. I know Trevor, there's no Trevors in the Bible, just like there's no Shanes in the Bible. But for Trevor, he's got a middle name, Michael. And obviously his last name is Keys. And how often is the name Keys mentioned throughout the scriptures? And all of these are interesting clues. In fact, Trevor's dad's name is Michael Keys. And there's an interesting clue there that you could look at and say, "Oh, my dad's name is Michael Keys. Is there some connection there?" And so there is power in understanding the name and these clues. David, you got something?
Yeah, I think you could take, because one thing I learned about John the Revelator is that his second name is David. Like, I like to call him John the Revelator, but his name is John the Beloved. And my name, I know already, means beloved.
David
So,
means beloved. So
yeah,
it could be John David. Yeah.
yeah, it could be
Very
John
interesting.
David. So what I'm saying is, like, you literally could, and this might, be, I realize you do want to have an open mind with this, because you could take the name Trevor, and I just looked up Trevor, and Trevor is like another word for homestead. So just like taking the name Beloved and finding out that, okay, that's David, you could find anywhere in the scriptures where there's a homestead. And I immediately think of the Nemenha, because the Nemenha, if you read through those records, they had a certain way of living where it was safe. And it was like a homestead. And again, I
Yeah,
say,
and you can do that. I mean, I've looked at the name Baldwin, and it means bold friend, and so it's like,
yeah,
or bold one, and so yeah, take the time to look at the name. It's not by just random chance. It was by design, and trust me, there's no way we would all sign up for this. We are playing one massive game of Clue right now. And it's like, who's going to remember who they really are? And so before we came here, we all had a name, and we got a new name once we came here. And so we are who we are right now. Now, to talk a little bit more about this, one of the things that I told Trevor is I shared an interesting story with him, um, about what happened for me, about the name. Now, I this isn't to toot my own horn, but I do go to the temple pretty regularly. My worst case scenario is like twice a month. So so I attend the temple. I would say that I'm a regular temple attender, and I do endowments quite a bit. And I got I received my endowment in 1999. And there's only one time during that whole time that I ever received my same name. So that always like perplexed me. I'm like, wow, that's pretty significant that I had never received it. And it had been years and years and years since that had happened. And a few months ago, I was pondering many of the things that we discuss on this channel. And really I was like seeking to get confirmation of something that was really, really important. And I said, okay, here's the deal. If this is true, this is me having a conversation with Heavenly Father. If this is true, I'm going to go to the temple tomorrow. And the confirmation will be if I receive my same name that I received back in 1999, then I'll know that this is confirmation.
Which odds are like in the trillions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you this. This is, I promise you, I swear to you, hand on the Bible, like this legitimately happened. This is why I have so much faith that I know God is there. I know Jesus is the Christ. I know Joseph is a prophet. I know the Book of Mormon's true. I know all of those things that we always say, but I freaking know them to my core, and I would not deny it. If you had a gun to my head, I'd say pull the trigger. I will not deny it. That's where I am on this stuff. And this experience further proves that the temple is extremely important, especially for me, because I'm having this experience in the temple. And I'm telling all of you that you can have these experiences because I've had these experiences, and I'm the least of these, my brethren. So if I can have these experiences, anybody can have these experiences. So, Trevor.
Yeah, I mean, just in case people missed that, you asked if your name was significant. You had never heard it again in 15, 20 years of going to the temple regularly. The day that you ask if it's significant, you show up and you get the
I
same.
show up, and it the Lord loves to take things to the next level. Like, okay, watch this. So I go there, and boom, I get the name that I received. I'm like, this. I'm like, I got the name, and I'm just like sitting there in the chapel waiting for it, and I'm just like, this is crazy. This is crazy. I can't believe this. This is crazy, and I'm like pumped. And my particular name actually has a new name associated with the name. You know, it's like Jacob, who became Israel. So imagine you got the name Jacob, but the new name is, you know, it's associated with Israel. But you didn't get the name Israel. You just got the name Jacob. So I got this name that I got again, and I'm pretty stoked. As I go to the veil, I look at the worker who's taking me through, and I look on his name tag, and it's the new name to the name that I already had. And I'm just like going, you cannot make this stuff up. Now, if that was the end of the story, you'd say that's pretty amazing. But a couple days later, I'm at the temple. David, I don't know if you remember this. I was with you. We go and we stand in the prayer circle. And the guy who helped me through the veil, the guy that was the temple worker, is there doing a session, and I recognize him and I call him by his name because I remembered it, obviously. And he's in the prayer circle with me. And I'm just like going, okay, I got it. I understand it. That's an answer, and I'm good with it. Yeah.
You're getting smacked with that one.
So
That Latter-day Chad told me this. We were together this past week in Arizona. He had something very, very similar to that, where he was asking and it showed up again. Not the other levels, but still, just those type of odds are next to impossible to run those calculations.
yeah. So if you're where Trevor was, where it's just like, I don't know if it's that important. Go test it. Go test it out. And I was with somebody, one of my friends who started going back to the temple. We were having this conversation about the new name, and he's like, bro, I forgot it. And I'm like, well, you can retrieve it. He's like, I can. I'm like, oh yeah, just go into the office and let them know that you forgot it, and they'll figure it out. They'll look it up for you. So you're good. And so he went and remembered his new name. So listen, if you've forgotten your new name, you can go to the temple and you can go retrieve it and get it back. So
You just have to basically contact or go to the temple that you took your endowments out, and then they'll find the day that you got it and give it to you. Right?
yeah. And I don't know how it works. And maybe you guys can post in the comments. I don't know if that name is that day for that temple. And so that would reduce the odds, because I don't know how many people daily are receiving their endowment. Maybe it's just, I know when I went through, for me, I was the only one in the whole session that was receiving their endowment that day. And I don't know if that new name is just for that particular temple, or if it's like, hey, across all temples, here's the name for the day. I don't know how that works.
Right.
David, do you know how that works?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, I wouldn't know. It's
Somebody's going to tell us in the comments.
Sam, post in the comments. Somebody will know what the deal is there. So
okay,
cool.
So Shane, part of our conversation, we talked about this new app that Zion Streaming is building called Oracle. And we've talked a little bit about Oracle and the number code, but let's talk about that a little bit, because we weaved it into this conversation. You're basically saying, hey, in addition to understanding who you are and looking in the scriptures and this new name, there's this system that's been in the stars. We've been having all these videos with Star-Lord on, where we've been talking about this, between numerology and, cosmology, zodiac, all of that. So talk to me a little bit about that, and then what we're doing to develop this Oracle system so that it'll help people understand who they are more.
Yeah. So the name of the app that's being developed is Oracle, ORAQEL. And I've been doing numerology since I learned it when I was studying it in prison. I got into studying Kabbalah, and numerology was a thing, and I started to find some really cool clues. And I'm gonna share with you guys one of them right here. Now, while you're on this quest to try and figure out who you are, and for me, I'm like, okay, I know myself. I would never choose to come here forget everything if there wasn't a way to be able to figure things out. Like, I love solving clues, I love puzzles. I don't know, Trevor, have you ever been to one of those rooms where you have to like figure out how to get out of the room?
I have 2 gift cards on my nightstand to go to one again. Yeah,
Okay. So
I love. Yeah,
so it's like trying to figure these things out, right? And I look at life that way. I
the ultimate escape room is getting back to heaven.
Yes, that's the ultimate escape room, and there's so many clues, and if you're paying attention, you can see them, and I'm gonna give you guys one that nobody knows about. I'm the only person that I know that teaches this, and I was able to be led and guided to find this. Okay, so we live in the calendar system of the Gregorian calendar. Before we came here, we knew what calendar system we were gonna be operating under. And so we knew our clues needed to be based under this particular calendar system. And I think Satan knew all the games of Clue. And he's like, oh, watch this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mess up the calendar system. And so it'll mess up their entire game because they won't be able to use that anymore. And so for a time, it was messed up. And then as they instituted this new calendar, then it was like, heaven's like, okay, nice try. We got a new plan. Here's the new program. We got a new calendar system. So here's how your clues work in this calendar system. So we have 365 days in non-leap year, and we have 366 days in a leap year. You chose to come here on a specific day. I don't care if you were premature. I don't care if you were cesarean. I don't care if your mom was in labor for 72 hours. You're supposed to come one day, the day that you took your first breath and you breathed the breath of life and is your birthday. That day is significant, and it's important that you understand what day that is. So David was born in 1984. He was born on the 205th day of the year. Trevor was born on day, Trev, is it
I don't know.
320 something?
322?
Was it 322?
Probably.
Might be. I don't know. Anyways, David's going to look that up. It might be 321. 32. Anyways, it's 11/17/1976. And I was born August 21st, 1980. So my number's 234. Now, here's the clue. Now that you know your number, so go figure out if you were born on whatever day you were born. If you're like my wife and you were born on January 3rd, then your number, you were born on the 3rd day of the year. So figure out what day of the year you were born.
Yeah, 322. It's 322.
22. Okay, yeah, that's where you get your 7. So 322. So this is what I want you to do.
Which, by the way, isn't 322 Skull and Bones number? I think it is.
It is. It totally. Again, another clue. You should probably go and see what the heck does that mean. But so you're going to take the number. Like for me, 234. What I did is, as I said, okay, what books were in the home I was born into that were important? The Bible, the Old Testament, the New Testament, the Book of Mormon, and the Doctrine and Covenants. So go 2 pages before. So for me, it's 234. So you go 231 to 236. So you're going to go 2 pages before, 2 pages after, but really look at your page and see if you left yourself a clue. So look in, if you're Trevor, you're going to go look at page 320 to 324 in the Old Testament. You're going to go look at it in the Book of Mormon. If the Doctrine and Covenants has that many pages, you're going to go look at that. You're going to read those pages specifically to know, is there a clue for me here that can help me better know who I am and what I'm here to do?
Can I admit something?
Yeah.
You already know the answer to what I'm going to admit to.
What is it?
As many times if you guys have been preaching this,
Never done it.
I've never done it one single time. I have the faith of a flea or something, but I'm going to do it.
Dude, I've had so many people that are like, what the heck is going on? I've had somebody that went and looked on that page. I'm not kidding you. And their new name was in there. And they're like, okay. Now, I should tell you this. I've got this guy that works with me, and his name's Mikey, and he was born on the 22nd, and his number, he's 22. And I grabbed my book that's right behind me, The Honest Lie, and I didn't know what was on page 222. He's got 22 like tattooed on him. I'm like, go look at page 222 of my book, and there's something in there specifically for you. He opens it up, and it's the only time that I tell a story about a guy's faith, and this guy's name is Mikey. So there's some really cool things when we start seeing these patterns and these numbers. Now, you can then take that number, like if you're Trevor and you're 322, or you're like me, 234, you're going to add that up. 234 adds up to 9. So that's going to be your first number. We're all given 3 numbers. So your first number is take whatever day of the year you were born. If you were born on the 322nd day or the 234th day, or like David, the 205th day, and you add that up, that's going to give you your first number. And that first number means something. So you can go look up, what does the number 7 mean in numerology? And it's going to give you a ton of things. What are the strengths of the number 7 in numerology? What are the weaknesses or the challenges? Now, that the Oracle app is going to do this for you. You're just going to plug in your birthday, and it's going to go, it's going to spit this information out. The way you find your second number, called your life path number, is you add up your entire birthday. Now, Trevor is unique, very unique. He holds the rarest number you can hold in this way. And so you would add up 1. He's born on the 11th. 1 plus 1 plus 1. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 7 plus 1 plus 9 plus 7 plus 6 equals 33. So you add up your entire birthday. For me, if I add up 8 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 0, it equals 29. Now, mine you reduce to a single digit, so your 2 plus 9 is 11. Oh, ding, 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 that's a master number. You never reduce master numbers, and there are only 3 master numbers: 11, 22, and 33. So Trevor holds the number 33, and that number 33, you have 33 vertebrae. There's in Masons, there's 33 degrees. Water goes from a solid, or from a frozen state to a liquid state at 33 degrees. Jesus died at 33, but Trevor holds the master number 33 as his second position number. And that's a master number. And you can ask in numerology, what does the number 33 mean? And it's going to give you tons of information, which will give you tons of information about yourself. Trevor.
Yeah. As you well know, I'm skeptical as a mofo, right? And the reason why I'm so on board and excited about this Oracle app is because anytime like people know I'm dating right now, like somebody puts on their thing like, zodiac horoscope, I'm like, I did not want to talk about somebody who's into that. But these numbers and the code that Oracle spit back to me, it was 99% who I was, like in the creepiest way. And I almost, like in my mind, I'm thinking Shane manipulated this. It told him things about me or something like this, and it didn't. So I'm excited for this thing to come out. When we have this thing in beta, we'll do some live tests on screen so people can see this. But there's 3 numbers that comes out. Shane's talked about how to find the first 2.
Yeah, and the third number is pretty simple. We'll take Trevor again. He was born on the 17th. 1 plus 7 is 8. So he holds 8. And that 8 represents his earthly gifts. So the second number represents your heavenly gifts, or the gifts of truly who you are. But that third number represents kind of your earthly gifts. 8 is the number of money. Trevor has the ability to make lots of money because he holds 8 in that position. So for me, I was born on the 21st. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 is the number of communication. The third letter of the alphabet is C. Also, the third letter of the alphabet is criminal. So I wish I would have known that and known all the numerology. I could have protected myself. Just so you know, if you hold the number 4, or if it's a 4-day. So yesterday, it was the 4th of January. 4 is the number of like law and order. And so make sure you're not speeding. Make sure you're not doing anything wrong on the roads.
Watch Law and Order on that day.
Yes, totally. But you'll learn all these things about the numbers. Now, when you include the numbers with the zodiac and you combine all of these things, and what Oracle's doing is it's looking at all the numbers, it's then taking into consideration your zodiac, the Western zodiac, as well as the Chinese zodiac. It's also doing some English gematria. So your number, like if you were born on the 233rd day, if you type in what does 233 mean in English gematria, or the 322nd day, guess what it means? The 322 in English gematria actually means key. And guess who was born on the 322nd day? None other than Trevor. What? Keys.
It means key?
It means key. 322 in English gematria means key. So you start looking at all these things. You're like, okay, I mean, what are the odds? What are the chances? Now, here's the cool thing. Imagine if you're dating somebody, or imagine if you're going to hire somebody and you know that, oh, 3s, they're great salesmen. Okay, and I need to hire some salesmen. Oh, okay. Let me go find some 3s. I know 3s can sell. You know who's a 3 that's been on our show? And he's got 2 3s, so he's a hard 3? Fabrizio. And boy, does that dude like to talk. And so he does high-end aviation sales. Like, that's what he does. So like, look for that 3. Donald Trump also holds the number 3. So again, he's the art of the deal guy. So you know, you can start putting these things together. But
does Trump have any master numbers?
No master numbers for that guy. He's going to earn it as our president. Trust me, his next life, he'll get a master number. Those of you who have master numbers, it's likely in your prior eternal existences, you have done some pretty significant things. Master numbers are pretty rare. The rarest of all master numbers is the master number 33 that Trevor holds. I can tell you this, if you're a man and a woman, or woman and a man, the best match for master numbers, and I'm seeing this as I see other people's. I have a business partner, he's master number 22, and his wife is an 11, and they hold it in the same position, and they get along great. For my wife and I, she's a 22, I'm an 11. We get along great. And so when I got out of prison, I was actually looking for, based on the numbers, my wife's got 2 3s. She's 322 3. So I'm like, okay, she's okay to speak. She likes to speak. She's comfortable speaking. I want somebody who is like that. And when I ran her numbers, I was just like, oh, okay, this is game over. This is like, I got to see if I can close this deal down. So I gave her my best sales pitch, because I also hold the number 3.
And I mean, one thing that, as a skeptic, that I'm so much believing this Oracle stats is, I'm dating people right now, and as soon as I start talking to someone, I get their numbers and I text them to Shannon. I'm like, tell me how compatible we are.
Yeah. So the app can then take your, or what we call the Oracle code, and your partner's Oracle code. And listen, if you want to test it out, I don't know how many of these we're going to get. I don't know if there's a cool way that if you want us, I can't promise we can get to everybody, but if you want to send us,
in the description below, they can send us their numbers. We'll make a specific form that they can put their numbers.
So just for our Zion Media people, if you want us to run your Oracle code, Um, happy to do it for you. And if you're like, see if I'm compatible with this person, we'll give you the compatibility analysis, and it will tell you. Like my wife and I are 91% compatible when I ran it. I ran somebody else who is divorced, and I did their compatibility, and it was like 48%. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably why you might have gotten divorced there. He's like, oh, that's weird because I felt like we got along pretty good, but compatibility is almost as much about spirituality as it is about anything else. I mean, you can get along with somebody. That doesn't mean you're spiritually compatible with them. So figuring out your spiritual compatibility with somebody is important, and that's what this does, and that's what's exciting. And then what it's going to do, if you happen to be in the world of wanting to meet people and dating, it's going to match you with people that you're the most compatible with. And so this app is going to be so cool. What it's going to do, I'm amazed that the name oracle.com, like we own the domain oracle.com, I'm amazed it was available.
Well, there's so many
ORQUEL.
people that are in my there's so many people that are in my age, that are dating, that they're like, I'm not going to use any of these stupid dating apps because it's all just looks, right? It's swipe left, swipe left, swipe.
Right.
It's like, okay, so then you invest so much time into someone, like just before you can even like go on a date. Like think of the texts and then the phone calls and everything is like now you go on a date, right? And then you're investing in them. How nice would it be to know, or at least have some faction of an idea like, no, we're compatible, right?
Right.
And to have a dating site where you're not swiping left or right based off of looks. You're swiping left and right based off of their number code and your compatibility with that person. Like that's rad.
Now, we are just starting this process. David actually has a background in web app development, and he's building out all of the what's called wireframes. What we're currently looking for, and I don't know, I'm putting it out there. If you are a coder, builder,
Developer.
developer, we are looking to interview and hire somebody to participate with us in building Oracle. So if you're interested, hit us up. Let us know if you know somebody and you have a referral for us. Like, let us know. We're putting this out there. We're really excited about this. There are some other features that we're not going into. I mean, I can tell you this. Should I tell them about the music thing that I was messing around with? Okay.
Yeah.
So last night, I put in David's number and Trevor's number into the Oracle. And then I asked ChatGPT or Abel, I said, I want you to make me a song based on the information of their Oracle code. And boom, it spits me out these lyrics. And then I go and create, just like we do on Zion Media, created a song. And it was, when I looked, Trevor's song, it was titled, Trevor, do you remember what your song was titled? Was it titled the Master of Light or something like that?
I gotta look. I'll look right now.
I know David's song is so good. It's called the Path of the Lion. Because he's a Leo. And
I want you to send me the lyrics. That's what I meant to ask you. I'd love.
Oh yeah, I have
Master of Light. Yeah, Master of Light. But dude, the cool thing about this is we've been talking about mantras, right? And anybody who's studied any self-help gurus, right, from Tony Robbins on down, they talk about the importance of these daily meditations and mantras and things that you say to yourself to get yourself in the right frame of mind. And music is key. Finding the right music with the right frequency. We're using your frequency that's tied to your number code, right? And then words where you can put this thing in and listen to yourself and motivate yourself. Like I flash to my kids. I'm like, this is so neat. Like I want a personalized song or songs for my kids that they can motivate themselves to think higher and think of this higher life path. So
now I'm looking up, oh, this is David's song, but I'm not going to play it, but this is the lyrics that it spit out for David. It's like, born for greatness, the stars aligned, a roaring fire, a brilliant mind. You walk the path where the fearless go, guided by light, only you can know. Eyes like the sky, full of endless dreams, strengthen your soul more than it seems. You see the truth where others are blind, a sacred flame, one of a kind. Uh, Through the silence, you hear the call, standing strong with the shadows fall. Every step you rise above, carrying the world with fearless love. You're the lion, bold and free, a light of the world, a destiny, spiritual fire. You're the spark, guiding the way through the endless dark. Oh, oh, through the endless dark. And listen, if you put this is what one of the things I will do for you because I freaking love it. If you put your birth date in, the first 5 people, and if you want us to create a song for you based on that number code, we'll go ahead and deliver that to you as well. So the first 5 people, we will run your code, we will give you that information, and we will create you a song based on you, based on that code. And let's see how it goes. David, what do you got?
On one of the episodes, future episodes. Yeah.
You just need to understand, for the viewers, you need to understand my name, David Leon Douglas. It means beloved lion over dark water. So those last words, the lyrics that you read, Shane,
Yes, it's guiding the way through the endless dark. Oh, through the endless dark.
That's cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and that's all based on the number code. That's just based on his number code.
you
But-
didn't use
but-
my name, you didn't use my PHR blessing, nothing.
I didn't use anything. I didn't even tell it was David Douglas. I just ran the number code. I said it was for a male. I said, this is a male born on this day. Give me the number code. Then I said, okay, based on that information, I want you to create for me a song that would be a positive mantra song based on the information from his number code. That's what it gave me. Talk about angelic intelligence. Yeah, it's awesome.
When I think of my name, I think of how, again, beloved lion over dark water. I think of the lion as being like a bridge. What Douglas actually is, it's a river. And so if there is a line over that river, it's the bridge over, and yeah, anyway, thank you for that. I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm really excited about what Oracle is. And again, if you want us to run your number code, David's going to do something in the description. Go to the description and you can do it. But the first 5 people that put their stuff in there, they're going to get a song from us at Zion Media. I'm really excited to produce and make that song for you.
And you're going to be seeing more and more and more of this over the next 6 months. It's probably not going to be until end of summer, early fall that this thing fully deploys because it's going to be a full scale application.
Yeah, that has connecting you, matching you. Like it'll have employers that are looking for people based on number code. Imagine hiring people based on the Oracle code for a specific job, and you know that specific numbers are good at doing certain things. So you're hiring the right people for the right job, not just because they have a degree or they went to school for it, because the numbers tell the story. So really excited about that. So your name, if there's anything you take from listening to this podcast, your name matters. The name that you were given at birth matters. The new name you got in the temple matters. The name matters. Never forget it. Understand it. Know what it is. Know all parts of your name. If you got like I understand what my name is Shane. I understand what S and H means. So break it down and see if you can figure out what it means. It's not random. It's not just like, well, I guess my parents just liked the name. No, it was the Holy Ghost was prompted to whoever was giving you that name to give you that name. And I would say the same is true at the temple. If the name doesn't make sense to you that you got in the temple right now, it could be symbolic, but maybe not. Maybe there are things that are going to happen to you. Like I said, when I first got my name, I thought, oh, what a junk name. Like, why am I named after that guy? Like I was like really like bugged about it. For years I was bugged about it. until I started to understand and my life started to unfold. And I'm like, uh, duh, that makes perfect sense. So just understand, maybe it doesn't make sense to you now, but my experience has been it will. And the more you dig into it, the more you study it, and searching the scriptures, like searching the scriptures is different than reading the scriptures. And what David Douglas has been learning to do is to search the scriptures, meaning he's not just reading it cover to cover. He's like, okay, I am searching for this particular name and these particular instances, and I'm going to search this part of the scriptures to see how it aligns with what's going on in my life, what could go on in my life, or what has gone on in my life. Okay, well, this has been awesome. Numerology and names, two of the things I love to just talk to people about. Any other thoughts, final thoughts as we wrap up, boys?
I'm good, man. No, with good combo. Just, it's a lot to process, and the cynical and skeptical minds have difficulty believing these things. And so I wanted to have a conversation to let you know, if you're out there, you're not alone. Like, I'm there with you, but I want to find meaning, right? Like, I would love it for these things. And so the oracle thing for me, like, motivated me. I'm like, okay, that actually is correct. Maybe I'll start looking into some of these other things a little bit deeper.
And if you go search those page numbers and you find something, send us some testimonials. The more people have experiences, I mean, for me, searching my page numbers personally helped me understand big time what I'm down here to do. Like, it was one of the biggest clues when I started playing this game of Clue, where I'm like, okay, got it. I'm starting to understand now. So if you're born on a leap year, you kind of hold two different numbers. So David holds like 204, but 205 is his actual day. Like Trevor owns 321, but 322 is his actual day. I own 233, but 234 is my actual day. That's why I give you a couple pages on each side of it. You're in the general area searching for the gold. So I've given you the general area where the gold is. Now you have to go dig in and search the scriptures and dig out and find that gold. And if you find gold, let us know. Post in the comments. Hey, if you thought this conversation was interesting and it perked your interest, or it's helped you in some way better understand who you are and given you greater confidence in the new name and in the numbers, share this, please. It's super simple to share on YouTube. You hit share, you copy the link, and you start firing a text message. It is so simple to share. I would encourage you to share these with people. This costs you no money, nothing. If you're watching this and you're like, you know what, a name pops into your head, share it with them. Follow the prompting of the Holy Ghost and share. If you want to be more prompted by the Holy Ghost, then act on the promptings you're getting. I promise you, the more we act on the promptings of the Holy Ghost, the more the Holy Ghost is like, hey, we got one over here. He or she, they're listening. Hey, let's give them more stuff to do. They're listening. So if you feel prompted to share this with somebody because you found it interesting, and listen, we're the only people on the planet that has divulged some information that exists on this podcast. There's nobody that knows the numbers like we know the numbers here. And I know that they're real, and I know that they work. I bear you my freaking testimony because it has impacted my life and helped me understand things. Now, here's my caution, and Trevor knows all about this. Now, you're going to start seeing numbers everywhere. Literally, you're going to look at license plates, and you're going to look at this, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing it here, and I'm seeing it there. Don't get lost in the sauce. Remember that you still have to operate in the matrix. Be aware of what's going on, but don't end up in the loony bin because all you're seeing is, I'm seeing numbers everywhere. I have this dear friend of mine who's like so into this, and she literally went through every prophet and did their numbers. And of course, Joseph Smith holds a master number.
What?
Of course, Joseph Smith. There's only like 2 or 3 of the prophets that hold master numbers. So if you don't hold the master number, no big deal. Most of the prophets didn't hold master numbers. So there's still hope for you to become prophet one day. So just because you don't have a master number isn't the end of the world, David Douglas. Okay. Any final thoughts as we wrap up? Okay.
Thank you.
Share it, like the video, it doesn't take much. Just hit the little thing with this thing and just like it. The more you like it, and I guess this really works. Like, I'm starting to help other channels out because I'm like, I like this video. Oh, cool. All I got to do is just like click that little thing that says like. It helps the algorithm. Somehow it pushes that video out there. So like this, I want this information to get out there. I think this information is important, and it's important for all people, in whether you're religious or not. If you're on this earth, you're a part of this code, and it's important that you understand the code. If you want to figure out how to navigate the matrix, this is part of it, and we have just begun to scratch the surface. I'm excited for 2025 because this is the year that we start releasing some of this information, where we start fulfilling the promise that nothing shall be withheld from them. Once you know the code, then you can access things and nothing can be withheld. For myself, I'm Shane Baldwin. For Trevor the Key Keys and David the Lion Douglas, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.
It's more than a word, it's the start of a fire, a voice from heaven that lifts you higher. A gift, a promise, a call to become the name that reminds you of where you're from. Hold on, don't forget your name. Of Abram to Aim, from Abram to Abraham, Jacob to Israel, a name transforms. It's a story to tell, it's a key to your soul, a map to the light, a guide for the battles you're called to fight. When the world feels heavy, when doubt takes its place, your name is the anchor, a gift of grace. It's more than a title, it's purpose untamed, to rise and to live in the power of your name. Don't forget, it's who you are, a light to guide you, a northern star. It's a promise of hope, a flame to proclaim, to carry you forward in the power of your name. Don't forget, it's who you are, a light to guide you, a northern star. It's a promise of hope, a flame to proclaim, to carry you forward in the power of your name. Building momentum. It's the truth of your worth, the spark of the divine, the voice of the heavens that says you are mine. Like Saul who became Paul, you're made to change, to rise from the ashes, reborn, rearranged. Let it guide your steps, let it sharpen your way, a name that reminds you of who you'll be someday. Not just a sound, it's a heavenly flame, a call to be greater in the power of your name. Don't forget, it's who you are, a light to guide you, a northern star. It's a promise of hope, a flame to proclaim, to carry you forward in the power of your name. Don't forget, it's who you are, a light to guide you, a northern star. It's a promise of hope, a flame to proclaim, to carry you forward in the power of your name. When the road gets hard, when you feel alone, your name is the compass that leads you home. It's a whisper of love, a shield in the fight, a call to the heavens to walk in His love. Don't forget, it's who you are, a light to guide you, a northern star. It's a promise of hope, a flame to proclaim, to carry you forward in the power of your name. Don't forget, don't let it. Your name is a promise that will never change. It's written in light, it's carved in your soul, a name to remind you of what makes you whole.